Hey everybody, just wanted to make a quick video. Hopefully it'll be quick, and I want to talk about just various topics regarding customs, pursuit of the perfect custom, the steps we take to make the perfect car. And this is really a video for all the customizers out there. And I just want to start off by giving a couple quick shout outs. Kevin Creedon nominated me to make my top 5 fantasy picks, and I'm going to do that, but I'm going to pull a pooch and not nominate anyone, simply because everyone's been taken. There's probably a lot out there, but I think the top 5 fantasy casting has pretty much run its course. I've picked what I think are pretty much cool fantasy castings, and so many thanks to Kevin Creedon, and I also want to say thanks for posting the link to my page, because I really think it's an effective way of getting subscribers. I've been approached by certain people that say, hey, I'll subscribe if you subscribe, but I'd rather get people that go to your channels to look at what you do that might be interested in what I do. And Kevin and I have, we've chatted back and forth online, and I think we're fans of each other. I'm definitely a fan of his. And toothpicks, Kevin. Put a toothpick on your turntable, and that should prevent the cars from rolling. So, a couple things. Just want to talk real quick. This is a mad props to Champion DJK. I told you that the mad props, everything looks better with real riders, so I was able to put a set of real riders, booyah, on mad props, and I just think that's pretty funky. Another little quick custom. The wheels came off of an Ertl Chevy track racer. I think it was a Johnny Lightning casting or manufacturer, but it was an Ertl casting. It's one of those weird things, but it had those circle track wheels with the wide base, and I just cut a slot there to slide the wheels through. I needed something to kind of stabilize the axle, so I just put a sheet of tubing, slid it down the middle, and if you'd like to know how I did this, just let me know. It's kind of quick, but again, this is my favorite little thing about wheels that have free rolling. The axle allows for free movement of the wheels. I think it just makes for a better wheel. That's what made Hot Wheels famous. On that note, I want to segue into some of the Tonka toy trucks. Are pretty cool because you can get an assortment of knobbies, dualies, and things like that, and they too have the free axle so that each wheel rolls independently. It's just a little bit wider of a track. The car's a little bit more expensive, but you can get these in different widths, and some with chrome, some have the truck look. A while back, I started work on this vehicle here, and as much as I would want, the fire eater to sit there and be the fire seater, I decided to do the Ford C900 cab on this, so I took everything off, and I'll be putting on the engine from the C3PO WOW truck. We talked about this earlier, but I'm going to be using a Tonka chrome wheel for the front axle to kind of fill the gap. This axle here is a little bit too small for what I'm wanting to do. So, and that's the thing I want to talk about in this video, is how far you go to actually make the customs, the look and feel that you're looking for. A lot of people just buy some real rider cars. They've come out with these in various castings, and I'm a fan of the thins. And so we buy these cars in bulk, and we strip them down, and we make customs. The El Capucho is a car I've been working on for some time now, and I've just been annoyed because as much as I want to, this bed area, you know, it all pieces together, and it's just a reminder, this motorcycle here is designed to follow a track into it, and you've seen it in action where I've actually got it functional. But I just couldn't find one that was long enough. So then they came out with a new set of cars with the candy bars and some good castings, and I found this one, which has a bed and a cool set of wheels for another project that worked out perfectly. I won't tell you what it is, but these wheels look great, and everyone's doing a custom with this car, but I think you guys are going to be tickled pink with what I'm doing with mine. And the neat thing is the front axle didn't work, so there's a little trick of getting rid of those little nubs on the inside. I don't know if you can see this on the bottom wheels here, but there's a little nub on the inside there that kind of keeps it, you know, so there's not so much friction. But I didn't have enough clearance here, so I just got rid of the nub. Got it from this car, and here's what I'm finding. You open the package, and this is what it looks like in the package. Of course, you know there's an interior, and I'll show you. This is the interior that I'll be using on the El Capucho. It's the length I'm looking for. I just got to trim it up, put the new slot in, and go from there. But I'm getting kind of irritated because I'm finding more and more Hot Wheels where they just totally screw up. And there are people that want to do, or that will collect, you know, error cars and everything. Flip it over, and the damn tampo's missing on the other side. Doesn't really matter because I tore it apart, but it is kind of irritating because I did the same thing with the cab, and it's facing the same way. But you flip it over, and it's just, the tampo's completely crap. So I'm glad I took both of these apart. Sometimes we tear cars apart because we know we can do something better with it. This is the high roller car that we talked about. I opened up the area in the middle. Thought about doing the Great Gatsby exhaust. Doing something with the color. So this is just a quick custom, but these real riders that came from the submarine vehicle were just perfect. It was just a match made in heaven. So I was thinking about turning this into a little makeshift tow truck of some sort. So I've carved out the bottom and just tacked it on with some glue. So that's kind of cool. And then just I guess one more thing that I found. I've been collecting cars for a long time, and I had a 1975 280Z. It was my first lesson car, and at the time the only toy car manufacturer that made a Z body, you know, 240, 260, 280 type car was the Hot Wheels Z-Wiz, and I did a custom of that where I opened up the hood and did some things. Then they came out with the 240 a while back, and I did a video on that chassis swap here where I basically swapped out the chassis with a Dodge Viper and left the engine there. But Xylomex, an old casting a long time ago, came up with this one. And this has always been kind of fascinating because the rear end's a little bit different, and it's kind of a neat little front end. And I've kept this body. I've got the chassis somewhere, and I always thought that was cool when they came out with the new release of the 240. Then they came out with the Fairlady Z, and it's interesting. And that's what this casting is. It's a Fairlady Z. Comparing the castings, they're the same length. I mean, obviously different years. This was made in the late 80s, early 90s. The cast quality is pretty good. I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. This is a really neat find. I'd like to get my hands on a couple more of these because I like the way it's got the slant nose, basically Dino look. And this was a custom order that you could get if you were into racing in Japan. You could get what was called a slant nose. And over there, the model was called the Fairlady. So, interesting casting. I'm going to try to wrap this up with a couple other things. And then I'm going to post another video shortly on my top 5 fantasy castings. And again, Kevin, thanks a lot. Something else I noticed a while back, and they stopped doing it, but Matchbox was getting pretty creative. And there's a couple different cards that they came with, these things. There were these vehicles here that had random numbers and letters on the side, and hopefully this will focus enough to where you can see it. Can't really see it, but there's a set of numbers here, and they've actually become random, but in this case they weren't. Some of the vanity plates on some of the cars, if you replace the number with its corresponding spot in the alphabet, they actually spelled phrases. Some of the tags said envious. There was the Type 171 Volkswagen from Matchbox that had another one. It's kind of interesting. So if you find these, take a look at the numbers and break it out. In this case, this is the Power Wagon Jungle Truck. And if you were to take these numbers, and you would see that 1021147125, you have to pick and choose the placement, but the 10th letter of the alphabet is J, the 21st is U, the 14th is N, the 7th is G, the 12th is L, and the 5th is E. And in that sequence those numbers occur, it spells the word jungle. So just a little bit of interesting trivia on Matchbox. If you see the numbers, try to cash it out. Sometimes they'll replace letters with numbers, and I'll try to give a couple more examples. There was a Volkswagen Beetle. There was a Ferrari that had a little interesting thing. So that's it. I was hoping for a short video, but it's not going to be a short video. If you like this, put the jungle in the comments. And thanks for watching. I appreciate the new subscribers, and look forward to another video and an update on the El Capucho, because I want to wrap this up during the month of January. I've got another custom that I want to work on. Happy cracking, guys.